Well, we know Bure's here, but we don't know who else is going to be staying here. Let's go through this offseason. Let's see what we're going to look like for next season, where we don't have to sign any coaches, even though Lee is pretty good. We have to sign a couple of scouts, if we can. Tim Cook. All the just flat-out B-rated scouts we will send offers to. And the reason why I'm not committing to being like, oh, Brendan Moore's here, Brendan Moore's not, is because we don't even know who's going to be a free agent here. We're about to look, but there could be names that change our opinion very quickly. Obviously, though, the RFA market, I'm a little bit more intrigued in the RFA market recently because now those picks don't mean as much. Paul Correa's an RFA. Is he worth giving up 4 first-round picks for? Hell yeah, he is. Hell yes, he is. But we can't use a team's salary cap against them, so RFAs are fucking almost impossible. So, it's the green jersey behind you for Nashville and the Maine Mariners. That is the Yzerlone DEL jersey. The old Chris Rumble jersey. Oh my God, Bobby Holik ended up being a free agent. Okay. First and foremost, goalies, nobody amazing. Which is kind of unfortunate. I don't know where the hell Hobby Boolin went, because we didn't keep him, did we? That's right, we traded him. So Byron Defoe wasn't great for us. Ron Tugnut, when he played on this team, was actually pretty damn good for us. It might be worth the Ron Tugnut reunion, although there was a medium league goalie in Devereaux that we need to throw our name into the hat for. So how many goalies would be signed if we were to have signed Devereaux? I think he would be our 6th. He would be our 6th. Okay, so there's nothing we can do backup goalie-wise. We can solve that problem later. It just means that Felix is our guy. Defensively, for UFAs, nobody amazing, but we got some good right-handed shots that this team could definitely use. Obviously, Pronger's an RFA, but he is ours. There's Christie, who is okay. But was a generated dude. There's Yarospacek, Ozil, and Chazars. I don't really see how RFAs will work. Are there any good prospects? Not really. Couple of low 4s. That potential sucks. Okay. Let's shape what our defense is going to look like here. As far as we can tell, we might have to make further adjustments. But the defense this year, from the looks of it, Chara's not going to make it quite yet. So we need 3 right-handed shots. Unless Rafalski makes it, and we need a left-handed shot as well, and then obviously we'll have to have some filler. So if we were to look at the defenseman, the best left side is Hawgood. It's also Plavsic, Luke Richardson. Greg Hawgood's not that bad. Erzin, Jason Woolley. So you just look at left side outright. Kevin Holler, Bill Holder, Joe Ricci. No names that I'm like tremendously excited about, so we will go with Hawgood. 3 years, 3.5 to win that battle for him. And then right side, Konstantinov is a must. 3 years, $6 million. Dmitry Yaskevich is a must. I mean, out of the 82 overalls, he's the guy based on his age to go for, which means we might not get Marty McSorley. Go 5x5 for Yaskevich. We could go for McSorley, actually, and just play him on the 3rd pair. Because he's probably going to decline to that level anyway. So, Marty, come on down. Okay. Right wings. Ulf Dahlen is out there. Poor Rob Goodrow. We ruined his career. Again, we really don't need Ulf Dahlen, though. We already have a logjam of talent. We went for Pavel Bure instead of Ulf Dahlen. In terms of prospects, we don't really have any. Left wing side is Marty Jelena, but again, we don't really have room. Prospects include a young Pavel Demitra, who we are absolutely going to go for to try and develop Pavel Demitra. There's a low 6 in Claxon and Zanata. But we don't really have the roster space to fuck around. And then centers, no actual prospects. Best guy is Bobby Holik, though. Brian Smolinski's out there, too. Steve Ruchin, son of a bitch. That's a lot of really good talent. And then again, for RFAs, you have Paul Kariya. Again, Naslund is ours. If we were to go after Paul Kariya, honestly, it would pretty much have to be a max deal of like $15 million. 15 and a half for 8 years, 7 years, really. Except they don't have the draft picks to be able to do it. What picks am I missing? Because it would be 4 firsts. I guess I am still missing my first round pick this upcoming year, right? I am. If I can find my 2028 first round pick, we could go after Paul Kariya. Who has that pick? Or not our 2028, our 2029, I should say. Watch, I'll miss whoever the hell has it. No, I won't. It is an expensive one from Dallas. However, not Brendan Shanahan. I mean, Shanahan could get it. Brindamore could also get it. If it's not Brindamore we use to get it, it's Brian Ralston. Ralston has to play as center, or he's got to go. He's 24 years old. He has been awesome for us. But it would allow us to keep Rod Brindamore, who does have golds, 91-point season. We only signed him for the year, but we could obviously re-sign him afterwards. Hate to say it, but this is the time for Brian Ralston to go. Means Pat Falloon will stay. This is the time for Ralston to go. Love me some Brian Ralston, but this is the time. Especially if it helps us get Paul Kariya. So we get our first round pick back along with a 5th and a 7th for the signing rights to Brian Ralston. And now we're going to make a play for Paul Kariya. Because why wouldn't we? It's a risk. Might not work out, but Ralston was probably going to go anyway. 4 years of first-round picks to try and get Paul Kariya is the next play. As much as I'd love to go for a Holik, a Smolinski, a Ruchin, man, we are right up against it right now in terms of roster space available. Datsuk's already a third liner. Allison's a third liner. We don't have space because Datsuk's going to be a second liner next year. We don't have space for one of those other guys. Like that right there for the moment. Brindamore, Datsuk, Allison. Those are our 3 centers. Which means Joe Juneau is probably out. Brendan Shanahan is probably out, depending on what happens with Naslund and Eliash. Eliash is now a second liner as well. If we do get Paul Kariya, what's going to happen? It's the time to wait, as we're kind of gone into silly season with this roster management. But hey, silly season can be fun. So we got the scouts accepting offers. So we are wheeling and dealing to build a super team. So what's going to happen with the offers we have out? The goalie Devereaux went to the Islanders. That is what it is. Konstantinov signs. McSorley, Yushkevich, Hawgood, Pavel Demitra. What's going to happen with Paul Kariya? He's accepted. But will it be matched? Will it be matched? No, it is not. We have successfully offer sheeted Paul Kariya, even though it showed the Habs, from the Washington Capitals for our next 4 first-round picks. Paul Kariya, welcome to the Sharks. The most worthwhile offer sheet we've ever had. As we land Paul Kariya. Miroslav Shatan, we're going to match that offer for. We're not going to let him go. And we're good to sim the next season and match whatever offers we have to. Kariya and Bure are going to be on the top line this year, likely with Rod Brindamore between them. Screw your Shanahan, Gretzky, Falloon, although Pat Falloon is back. We'll see for how long. All of our roster construction from here now depends on who is available. Or the, not who's available, I should say. That's the previous step. The step now is how certain players have developed. So we are going to bring in Chris Pronger for the 2 years. LFC, what's up? See if we can bring in Pronger for the 2 years. Marcus Naslund for 1 year. Sandis Ozelinsh. Sign him to what he wants. And Chris Simon. Did we have any goalie RFAs? No, we did not. Hurry after the Canada game. Fair. Warrior, what's up, by the way? Apparently not much good for you, but what's up? Pronger signs. Ozelinsh, Simon, Naslund. That is everybody that we needed. If I'm not mistaken, right? Simon signed? He did. Okay. Moment of truth here, then. Who's developed and who hasn't? And how will that change our outlook for this roster? Potvin and Gerber. Also potentially Weeksy. So between Weeks and Gerber, somebody has to go. The other will be the backup. We'll see what happens there. Weeks is 22. Gerber's 23. Neither have abilities. We'll see what happens there. Defensively, Rafalski is a depth option. Pronger and Ozelinsh will need to be called up. Send down Barnaby for the moment. And Shane Doan, I guess. So the defense this year, unless something changes, I am going to check the unsigned players as well. Will be Pronger and Konstantinov. Ozelinsh and Yuskevich. Hawgood and McSorley. So easily the best defense we've ever had. Rafalski will be in the minors for 1 more year to develop. So let's see. I'll text. How's it going? Did Chara develop enough? No, he's 1 year away. He is 1 year away. Danny Briere is not ready yet either. So Chara is not ready. Means our defense is pretty much set. We'll need to sign depth defenseman. Right wing side. This is going to get tough. Send down Hoagland for the moment. We already know decisions are going to have to be made. Right wing side is set, though. It is going to be Pavel Bure as our top line right wing. Pat Falloon survived over Brian Ralston. Shane Doan on the third line. And Matt Barnaby on the fourth. Left wing side. We got trouble. We got trouble. Let's just send down a couple of centers because we know we're going to have to. Shit. Shanahan's out. It's just obvious. Shanahan's out. We're going with Kariya. Joe Juno isn't going to have any space at center. Joe Juno is out. We thought it was going to be Shanahan and Juno to propel us forward. They're both gone. We have to choose between Naslund and Eliash. Naslund is 3 years older and only 1 point better. Never got his gold back. Different player types, but we do have to choose between Naslund and Eliash, and right now I'm certainly leaning that Eliash stays. Top line left wing, Paul Kariya. Second line is probably Eliash. Third line, Miroslav Shatan. Chris Simon stays on the fourth. At center, we're going to need a fourth line center. But it is going to be Rod Brindamore, Pavel Datsuk on the second line, Jason Allison on the third line, and then again, we'll need a fourth liner. Okay. We knew some big names would be going. That's how it works. So first up, we need to make a decision on Kevin Weeks or Martin Gerber. It makes sense for Gerber to be the one to go. I really don't need players back right now. So he's going to go to the New York Rangers for a 6th rounder. Martin Gerber is out. Best lines. We have 3 gigantic players to sign. Or to trade, I should say. The best thing we could do is get arguably the best right defenseman in the game, whoever that is, to play with Pronger, because forward-wise, we're golden. Unless we wanted to get a different second-line center for a year, but then trade Jason Allison, but I'm not really for that. So who is the best right-handed defenseman in the league? It is either Al MacInnis, Rob Blake, Sergei Zubov, or Jeff Brown. MacInnis would be the answer short term because he's only 34. So it's Zubov or Blake. Zubov is technically same overall as Blake, a year younger, and slightly cheaper. Rob Blake is a 60-point defenseman, however. Zubov, not quite. If we can get... It would be funny to get Pronger and MacInnis to pair them together, though. It would be funny. I admit that. Rob Blake is that point-producing defenseman, though, that we're missing. The problem is, I mean, we could really be building them up. Could be a mistake. Fortunately, Dmitry Yaskevich got a little bit worse. McSorley to Konstantinov. I'm not really disappointed if McSorley or Yaskevich are disappointed about being a scratch, which McSorley would probably be our healthy scratch this year. We know that Brendan Shanahan's got to go. As good of a player as he is, he's being replaced by Paul Kariya. Can we pick up Rob Blake while moving on from Brendan Shanahan? Try to get some draft picks back. Even then, the value is interesting, but again, they don't want to trade Blake. Will this go through Shanahan for Blake and picks? No. Take out a 4th? No. Take out another 4th? No. 3rd, 4th? No. Take out the 3rd? What about just a 4th? Straight up. And again, this is why we don't go... You see the difference in the value bars. This is why I never go after players who aren't on the block, except in circumstances like this. Because we're going to have to go Shanahan plus to get Rob Blake, but this is the time to do it. And actually, I am going to have some dudes with potentials I do not care about. I have too many goddamn forwards as it is. So Bader, Vivieros, if you can take them. You cannot. All right. Well, again, we're going to lose out a little bit, but it is what it is. Shanahan and a 7th for Rob Blake. There it is. Shanahan's out. Rob Blake is in. One of the best right-handed shots in the league to now play alongside Chris Pronger. Technically, he's the best defenseman on our team by overall. The problem now, there's really nobody else to get in like a Joe Juneau trade. There's just nobody else to target. We don't have space for Teemu. He won't perform properly, and Bure's better. Who the hell does it make sense to get? Aside from draft picks, like, unless we get like the best goalie in the league, which the only guy listed as elite right now is Tom Barrasso. Oh, that's a righty. That makes sense. How many elite? All right, there's 11 elite goalies. The most valuable goaltender in the league is Marty Brodeur. He's only 25. Patrick Waugh is 32. Could we pull off a deal to get Marty Brodeur? As much as I love Patrick Waugh, if we can't get Brodeur, I'd get Waugh. I doubt we have the assets to pull this off, but we do have to trade Joe Juneau, and I hate to say it, but Marcus Naslund has to go over Patrick Elias. Like, Naslund will probably fit the style better, but Elias is 3 years younger and only a point worse. If we use Naslund and Juneau as the basis for this trade to try and get Marty Brodeur, can we do it? We got this random medium elite prospect that we took last year for the sole purpose of knowing that we could trade him because he's not going to develop. Same thing with the goalie, Wen Gronowski. That is rejected as well. It's probably going to have to be Patrick Waugh. Yeah, I mean, even if we were to use Danny Briere, I don't think it's going through. No. I will use a future first because we'll have two available to us, but yeah, Brodeur is going to be impossible. So we're going to go talk to Montreal. Granted, it's a veteran, but we're going to go talk to them about Patrick Waugh. And it just makes sense to go all in on this particular trade. Well, does it, though? Naslund's not enough on his own. But if we use Wen Gronowski and we use that right wing and then do a different trade, honestly, it might just be enough to be Naslund and Mason to build our little dream team here. Take out a third. Just safety netting this. Yeah, no surprise the second round pick is viewed as too much. But again, we're just being careful. Don't want to get screwed on a trade here. Especially if we can get back any value we can after the Shanahan debacle. Naslund and Mason for Patrick Waugh and a third? Not quite. What about Waugh and a fourth? What about just Waugh straight up? Quite far off in value. Okay, well, that is where the goaltender and Wen Gronowski will come in. What about now? It might take Joe Juneau as well, which is nuts. Is a fourth rounder enough? It might actually take Joe Juneau. A bit off in value. Okay, I think we have it. If we do Naslund, Mason, Wen Gronowski in a second. Patrick Waugh, welcome to the Sharks. We've acquired Rob Blake. We've acquired Patrick Waugh. Which means I'm so sorry to Felix Potvin. Although I'm not really worried about Potvin developing. I'm cool with him being a backup. It does mean we got to get rid of Kevin Weeks now. But Kevin Weeks, Olivara, and Joe Juno, there's nothing left for us to get aside from picks or high-end prospects. Is there any team willing to move a first-rounder this year just for us to get some damn value back? And the answer very much appears to be no. Patrick Waugh has finally left Montreal a couple years later than when it actually happened. Yeah, not a single team is willing to trade their first-round pick right now. Is there a team looking to move? Oh my God, Raymond Bourque. I might have to save Ray Bourque. Granted, he did win a cup in Boston. Christ, Yari Curry is Yari Curry's still hanging around too. Okay, this whole looking for a good prospect thing isn't going too well. I don't know what the hell we're going to get for Joe Juno at this point. Like Michael Roosevelt and Tom Poti on New Jersey. Holmstrom and Halvach. Might be going back to New Jersey at this point because that was kind of the best prospect-based deal that we actually had available. I'm going to get Ray Bourque in a different deal. Brett Lindros. All right. Well, Joe Juno, you are going to New Jersey in a deal involving Roosevelt and Poti. Do they have a random-ass goalie that I can acquire, not named Marty Brodeur? Just Miyagi Danette. Honestly, Roman Czechmanek would be fine just because I need a goalie. Weeks, Olivara, Juno, Roosevelt, Poti, Czechmanek. Kaner, what's up? 92-93 is the starting season. We had those futures. Okay. What if we do that first? Okay. Had a feeling we might be screwing ourselves here. What about 2 firsts? Okay. So Joe Juno, Kevin Weeks, and a rando named Olivara for Michael Roosevelt, Tom Poti, Roman Czechmanek. A first and a second. We're also going to add a 6th rounder from Dallas. Done deal. Joe Juno is off to New Jersey, and that is some wheeling and dealing. Good Lord. Good Lord. Datsuk was a 98 draft pick, but he was an overager, so that's why he's in. So we need 2 goalies for the AHL. The defense, we know we're sending down Poti and Roosevelt. We're going to bring in Ray Bourque. Gotta figure out exactly how I want to do this. I gotta figure out exactly how I want to do this. I mean, technically, I don't want to make the team worse, but am I really making the team worse? Then again, Ray Bourque retiring as a Bruin. Ray Bourque retiring as a Bruin would feel good, man. Dude, he's still got a fucking wicked shot. Never, Ray, come on. You want a cup in Boston, it's fine. I need you here. As a mentor to the youngins. Bader and Vivieros. Can I get rid of these two? What about just Bader? Giving up anything for Bourque right now isn't necessarily the smartest move, but I don't give a fuck. There we go. Let's get Ray Bourque. So, This team has changed a lot. And Kaner, yes. This team has changed a ton, even. Our goaltending is now Patrick Waugh and Felix Potvin. Defense, Blake Pronger, Ozelinch Konstantinov. We'll probably have Hawgood and McSorley as healthy scratches. So, at least out of the gates, I'm going to send them down. The right wing side is good. Left wing side is good. Center, I still needed a proper fourth line center for the moment. Let's just call up John Madden. So I need a proper fourth line center. And then everything else is looking pretty good. So let's go sign who we need. Is there a proper fourth line center that's better than someone we already have? Not really. So we'll use someone within the system. No disrespect to Tim the Toolman Taylor, of course, who we have previously signed. So goalie-wise, a couple of randos. Who are the old men at this point? Andy Moog. Bring in Andy Moog and Peter Sidorkowicz. We love Polish names. We love the Poles. And for the old dudes, we'll sign Doug Lidster. And the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Guy. We can also sign Jeff, better than my son, Jake Chikrin. And we will see how that looks once they sign. Thank you. Because the AHL team very much could go for that fourth title in 5 years. So the AHL is just a bunch of vets at this point, which is fine. NHL defense will solve in a minute. Our fourth line center this year will not be Langkow or Savard. It's probably LaPierre or Metropolit. LaPierre fits the theme. Or not LaPierre, but Ian LaPerriere, as opposed to Max LaPierre. I don't know. Honestly, Jonas Hoagland will probably be the healthy scratch. Just because we're not really worried about his development at all. So. Oh my god, this team. Dude, it's changed so much. Korea, Brindamore, Bure, Eliash, Datsuk, Falloon, Shatan, Allison, Doan, Simon, LaPerriere, Barnaby. I mean, if this team can't break through, what team will? Defense, Pronger, Blake, Ozelinch, Konstantinov, Bork, Yuskevich. Dude, Pronger and Blake. Good lord. Goaltender, Patrick Waugh. With Felix Potvin. Jonas Hoagland as a healthy scratch. And we will call up Hawgood and McSorley as well. To see what the AHL team ends up looking like. To see if they can indeed go for the 4 and 5 years. They got Dmytro Savard and Langkow up top. Also, we have both Steve and Paul Kariya in the same organization. So that's good to know. Bruins fans about to win a cup of Patrick Waugh. Dude, Patrick Waugh is my favorite goalie of all time. Because I ignore anything that happened for the vast majority of his career and only focus on the Colorado days. He won Ray Bourque a Stanley Cup. Sir, you should know this. Let's see. Defense. Michael Roosevelt. Rafalski lost his abilities. That doesn't surprise me. But there we go. We got some healthy scratches. Offense is still stacked. Defense is great. Goaltending, some veteran leadership. I don't know how Czechmanek kept his abilities. Both teams are perfectly set up to do some damage this year. I'm a little bit worried about Datsuk losing his abilities like Marcus Naslin did years ago. But, I mean, he's with Pat Falloon and Patrick Eliash. The PPP. The Triple P. But Korea, Brindamore, Bure. Jesus Christ. If there's any version of a team that we've put together that should be able to get out of the first round, it's this one.